We'll call the regular city council meeting for March 11th, 2026 to order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance. Aye.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have the approval of the agenda. We have two additions under new business. P will be a United Way gambling fund request. And Q is a conditional use permit application discussion. Are there any other additions to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next, we have the consent agenda. We have the regular city council meeting February 11th, 2026. Emergency city council meeting February 17th, 2026. Joint city council meeting February 18th, 2026. And the financial reports of city accounts payable February 2026. City financial statement February 2026. And the liquor store profit and loss statement February 2026. Any questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment. This time is reserved for comments from the public on matters not listed on the agenda. Please keep comments to 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Rob Bender. I think as most of you know, I've been dealing with a neighbor issue. It is still ongoing with the dogs. They've woken me up as early as 4:30 in the morning now. My biggest concern is I call 911 and I either do not get a response from the police, or when they finally showed up this last time, they told me it's not in their contract with the city to enforce that ordinance and they will not address it. And I'm wondering where we go from here.
Listen, do you have anything?
Yep, so we have implemented our administrative citation process, and we have started sending out warnings as the first step in our process, and that has taken place.
And the only other issue I got, again, it's something that I reported to the sheriff's department multiple times. There's an individual, lives around the corner from me, has a little red motorcycle that he likes to ride up and down the sidewalk in town, and he does not stop for the stop signs. I have spoken with this individual, my neighbor has yelled at this individual, and I believe on one occasion the police actually did speak with him. But I know the last 1 or 2 times I called about him, the cops didn't respond. And that is a concern that I'm having right now with our sheriff's department, that when I do call 911 for these issues, it's very spotty that I'm getting an officer to show up, and even, I don't care if they show up an hour too late, I wanna give a statement. Because most of the times, like with this guy on the motorcycle, I got video evidence. I got a video of him almost broadsiding a car because he's on the sidewalk going against traffic, and there's a car approaching Arrowhead Lane to make a turn. I don't know what to do here, folks.
Is this a juvenile or an adult?
No,
Adult.
he's an adult. I mean, I don't want to throw names out there.
No,
but
I just was wondering.
I know who he is.
And then I have a question about the dogs. This individual has more dogs
Oh, yep.
than considered in the ordinance. 'Cause we talked about that. So should they not be getting rid of those dogs?
So there was a grandfather clause.
But they've accrued more since then.
Yes, they have.
Correct. And so we have issued a warning and have started our citation process.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Any other public comment?
I will. It is about the time of the meetings. You know how they were at 6 PM and now they're at 4, and it changed sometime during the time Tim Peterson was here to maybe get out early or whatever, but there's like a lot of people that can't make it. Or they have to reschedule work or lose pay or just not get paid, daycare, whatever. I know a lot of people can make it at 4, but a lot of people can't. And I think a lot more people are interested in coming now. And it's probably easier for a few people to switch to 6 than many.
And I agree with that, but what about the shift workers that some people go to work at 6 o'clock, you know?
If they go to work at 6 o'clock, they're probably off because
No,
that's.
I do understand your,
Yeah, my sister-in-law
I
got
do
off at
understand your
3, but my
concern.
brother had to pick her up in Duluth at 3, and they can't make it.
I
Yeah.
understand your concern.
I'm just saying, if it's switched for one person, like, is there a reason it can't switch back? Because 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there are shift workers, but there's also 9 to 5 people, 8 to 6, whatever. I don't,
Is your
No.
suggestion 6, Cheryl, or is it?
yeah, just go back like it was, because there's still people that probably haven't been paying attention, that still thought it was 6 o'clock, but now they're paying attention again. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we can definitely have a discussion about that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other public comment? Moving on to department reports. Carlton County Sheriff's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. So you should have in your packet the monthly report for February 2026 for law enforcement activity, which outlines the calls for response that the deputies have responded to, as well as self-initiated field activity, to total 162 calls for service. I don't know if anybody has any questions on those specifically.
Calls.
Okay, and then just an update on the administrative support personnel for the emergency response center here. That person has started and is training right now, and hopefully will be on her own full-time, well, part-time, according to the contract, before the end of the month here. So she'll just start doing some systems and procedures training.
Any questions for Sheriff?
That's the one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Superintendent Phil Etner.
Mayor, Council, Administrator Owens, we'll start in the water department. Month of February distributed 2.8 million gallons of drinking water in the month of February. If you look back to January, it's about half. That's how big an influence those 2 water breaks that we had repaired. That's how big an influence they were. So sewer department collection system collected 8.1 million gallons of wastewater in the month of February. Treatment facility still waiting for some results on our bug program we're doing out there to increase capacity. I was in St. Cloud last week at a training, hoping to learn a couple other options for sludge removal. Preferably not mechanical, because it's extremely expensive. So we're still looking at options there. Street department, pothole filling starting here hopefully next week. They were actually they were at a minimum this year, which was nice to see. Shop doors, which you guys approved a month ago, 2 months ago, those were installed last month. Equipment, everything seems to be holding up. The cemeteries had a couple burials up there this last month. Nothing new to report at the campground and park, other than those couple of dead trees we told you we were gonna get you down. We got them down yesterday. Hockey arena's wrapping up, and then there's some other things, but I think we're gonna touch on them later. So is there any questions at this point?
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
It is the liquor store profit or report.
Good evening, members of the council, Mayor Michalski, Administrator Owens. Things are going great down at the municipal liquor store. I did give you guys a handout for the 13th annual MMBA Help Our Local Animals Drive for the month of April. We did it last year, went over really well. It's a great cause. So just some information for you guys to look at. Let's see, this Saturday and Sunday we got bands. Saturday is the Rowdy Gins from 7 to 10. Come check it out. Sunday, Side Street Detour from 3 to 6. And then for St. Patty's Day, we got some promotions going on. We have Guinness on tap, and we also have some specials, Guinness Espresso Martinis. So, not sure what that tastes like. Sounds good. Come check that out. Just finished an application with a new vendor to get some different food items down there. So things are moving, things are picking up. Snow is melting. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Technology and Library Department.
Yeah, IT department still working on some speakers that are failing at the arena. We have a meeting tomorrow actually on that. Helping Karen work through some credit card machines through our third-party IT department with the DMV. Got that new internet router installed in the conference room, still needs to be programmed. We're working through that. And, yeah, there's always something technology-wise. Any questions on technology?
Thank you.
All right.
City Engineer.
Yes, the city council received the monthly meeting minutes from March 4th. If there are any questions, as always, please feel free to let me know. We actually have a handful of agenda items later on pertinent to engineering, so we'll leave it at that for tonight.
Any questions?
Just one.
There's one question.
Looks like Chamber of Commerce monthly update.
The chamber met today. There's a new visitor guide that's out. The chamber has adopted a new mission statement. Really busy event planning for the upcoming event season. All events are listed on the calendar on the chamber website, and they're also currently continuing to pursue memberships. And so if any information is desired, please check out their website.
Any questions on chamber stuff?
If people have ideas for the grand marshal, should they just send them to the chamber?
Yes, absolutely. You could send them to the executive director. There's emails listed and contact information on the chamber website. Any city councilor who'd like to share them with me, I can also forward them on. They are in the process of planning. And they're taking grand marshal recommendations and also ideas through the end of the week as far as 4th of July themes.
Anything else? Previously discussed business, A Street vacancy.
Yes, so I just wanted to give council an update on where we are in the process. Essentially, we are working with a surveyor to establish a legal description of the utility easement that will accommodate a utility easement for water, sewer, and electric. In addition, we'll have a depiction. Once we get through that process with the surveyor, then we will turn that information over to legal. The city attorneys will then draft the documents necessary to consider the road vacation, and there will also be a public hearing associated with that request as well. So more to come.
Any questions on A Street? 2025 public budget savings update.
Oh yes, just want to keep this on the agenda as a placeholder. One thing that city staff is working through is we did receive a list from council of ideas of where those savings could go. If any new ideas have come up, please feel free to bring them forward to me. We are in the process of getting cost information for some of the ideas relevant to the monies and the savings from 2025. So more to come, and this is to ensure it doesn't fall off the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? City of Moose Lake employee parking update.
Yes, so the city engineers have been working with city staff. At this point in time, there is a design that incorporates between 10 to 12 parking spots. We are working through that, and with that will come an estimate from the engineers as well. Once we've kind of hashed that out, we'll bring all that information forward to council for review. That estimate information will also be helpful for the previous agenda item as well.
Any questions? Subsurface sewer treatment system request update.
Yes, so we've talked about this at a couple of different meetings with the city council. The next phase was essentially reviewing our city ordinance pertinent to our sewer infrastructure. That ordinance was incorporated in council's package just for review and reference. It's ordinance number 127. It is quite old. There have been a lot of changes that have occurred over time since the adoption of this ordinance in originality. So we are looking at it in totality, but also pertinent to this particular request. As it stands right now, if an individual would like to construct a home over 100 feet from city sewer infrastructure, as it stands right now, they can put forward a request to have a mound system if the distance is in excess of 100 feet. So those are some of the items we want to have a discussion with from a council perspective and weigh in, and Phil has some more information to share.
Yeah, so in that ordinance, I think it's page 5 and 6 are pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. Right now, there's nothing saying you can't have, and I just lost the page on this, I'm sorry. As of right now, there's nothing saying that they can't request that. There's also nothing, I believe, in there saying that you guys cannot deny it either. I guess my thing is, if we're going to think about allowing mound systems in town, then why do we have a sanitary sewer system? I mean, there's a reason for it, right? I understand for people who live in the country, obviously they have no public utility to hook to. But that's kind of just my 2 cents right now. Looking into this ordinance, the administrator and myself realized that we probably need to at least see if there's a want from council to look into this ordinance a little deeper, as it's over 30 years old, and like she mentioned, there's a lot of changes that have happened in the last 35 years in the wastewater industry. So I'm gonna leave it there for now, unless you want me to elaborate anymore.
Any questions?
Well, I think it'd be wise for us to update it if it's 30, 35 years old.
Section 4 does deal with the connection, them being required to connect to the city. Once that is, I guess, once the city does have their infrastructure in place.
Right, and I believe we talked about removals as well.
Yes.
Yep. So I mean, that is definitely a good piece that needs to stay in there.
Yeah, it definitely needs a review.
Right, okay.
We can work with the engineers and the attorneys as far as what some modifications or recommended amendments might be and bring back to council. It is directly pertinent to that SSTS request that's been received, so we can continue to work through it.
Any other questions? Moving on to new business. Moose Lake Area Historical Society sculpture discussion.
Mayor, council members, and city administrator, I believe all of you received copies of what I'm going to talk about today. I'm Peter Elshayer. I am a board member on the Moose Lake Area Historical Society, and I'm here today to request permission on behalf of the Historical Society to install a reconstructed wall of the Pure Oil gas station. Technically a sculpture at the north end wall of the Soo Line Museum and Event Center under the eave to the left of the museum entrance. The Moose Lake Pure Oil Station was built in 1937 and was demolished on August 29, 2023 after 85 years of service. The day before it was demolished, I was able to save the station's the bay window, front door, and the window to the women's restroom with the intent of recreating the station's front wall at the museum at some future date. My conception of the wall was that it needed to fit under the eave of the museum building to protect it from elements and be readily visible to visitors year-round. After presenting my proposal to the Historical Society Board and discussing the best fit, it was decided that the sculpture would fit in the roughly 10-foot high by 23-foot wide space next to the museum's front entrance that faces the former Soo Line Depot. The wall sculpture would sit on and be anchored to 5 tube footings to stave off frost issues and be held to the museum's exterior wall with spaced anchors that would allow airflow around both the wall and the sculpture to retard moisture buildup and deter rodents. The bay window, door, and restroom window would be anchored into a wall framework that we would build, and a white stucco exterior surface would be applied to the wall as per the original station. The bay window would house display of replicas of Pure Oil Company memorabilia with descriptions as well as the history of the Pure Oil station itself. Original blue tiles from the roof would serve as a backdrop within the bay window since they do not fit above it in that little space we're using. The area in front of the Pure Oil station wall would be cleared of crushed rock and paved with a combination of new pavers and pavers from the former Northern Pacific Depot platform that once graced Arrowhead Lane, giving full access to visitors. It would butt up to the existing sidewalk that goes to the entrance to the museum. The museum's goal is to have the Pure Oil station wall installed and the project completed prior to the Historical Society's Collector Car Show that will take place on August 1st, 2026. Its completion would allow the Historical Society to dedicate the Pure Oil Station wall and celebrate the first anniversary of the restoration of the Phillips 66 Tower at the same event. Are there any questions about this?
This is going to be on the north wall?
Well, I get my directions kind of confused, but the wall that faces the end of the Soo Line Depot and West Road,
It's north.
whatever, to me, that's east, but I just heard north, I don't know what. But,
It's north, Peter.
What?
It's a north wall.
Okay. Well, they're saying the north wall, but I need a compass to know where I'm at. I have no idea what it is. But if you're looking at the event center and the museum, the doorway that goes into the museum, right to the left of that is a perfect spot that this piece would fit in there. And it would be,
This would be on the depot part, not the building behind the depot, the newer construction?
it's the new building.
It's the new building.
Yes, yeah. The depot is a museum also, the depot building, but this is the new building that they built
Okay.
that is basically behind the depot.
It won't interfere with any of the original, with the original building then?
No, there's really nothing to change. The wall has very little on it, it's just that it has some, a lot of crushed rock and some, a gigantic old root of some kind, a stump or something like that, that can just be removed. But once that's cleared away and I lay the pavers down, which we have a bunch of the Northern Pacific platform pavers behind that building that we can use in this, then the visitors can come out of the door or even before they go into the museum can walk right up to the window, the bay window, and look right into the display.
Will this door be being used?
No,
Okay.
nothing will open up, but there will be one of the glass panels in the bay window will be, you will be able to open it so we can update the display as needs be. But everything in there will be replicas, so nothing in there will be destroyed from weather or time or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Chris?
I just want to say this is a wonderful idea to honor the Pure Oil I mean, it was sad to see that go. Are you gonna be doing this work yourself, or?
Yes, I'm working with Mike Twami, who's also on the board,
Okay.
to take care of this, but we did want to have this finished before August so that we can have a dedication and a celebration of the first anniversary of Village 66 and the car show all in one, so it's kind of a big event.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Do we have consensus to allow them to proceed with this project?
Yes.
Yes.
Short Elliott Hendrickson sewer capacity memo.
Everybody's favorite topic for the night.
Sure is.
I had one. Members of the council and Mayor Michalski, thank you for having me tonight. John Ringsdale with SEH, your current city engineer. And I am here to give you a brief high-level update on the pond capacity memo update that we did for calendar year 2025. Just a reminder, we've been doing these for, 6 or 7 years now to track the capacity at the ponds for planning for development and whatever future needs there are. So the pond capacity is evaluated based on the hydraulic capacity, which is your flow, and then the organic loading, which is your other capacity for PLD. Current capacity status key results in this memo, you'll see that the ponds are operating at approximately 80% hydraulic design capacity. Last year it was 82.8%, so we've continued to bring that down and increase that capacity of flow, which is good things. It shows that those sewer lining projects are actually taking effect and increasing capacity for the flow at the ponds. That equates to roughly 460 equivalent households, which is up from last year, which was 353. And then on the flip side, the ponds are operating at approximately 84% organic load capacity, which was at 80.8% last year. So equivalent households of 349 equivalent households, which is down from last year, which was at 442. So what you're seeing is a shift. We're not any longer limited by your flow at the capacity of the ponds, but we are limited by the load, which was expected at some point with all of this I&I reduction efforts that have been going on. So basically you have less clean water that's entering the system because of those I&I efforts, and so you're treating less of that flow, and which normally would dilute the organic capacity. So now that it's less diluted, you're seeing an increase in that organic capacity, or increase in that organics in the ponds. So this is very common with I&I reduction activities, and it is a positive outcome because you're doing what you've been setting out to do with these I&I reductions. Some other factors that play into that is COVID. So many communities saw suppressed organic loading during COVID years due to changes in commercial and industrial activities. And now that we're getting past that whole phase of things, we're returning back to normal, and a lot of communities are seeing those organic loads coming back and rebounding. And then also any changes that are tied to commercial or industrial discharges could also contribute to the change that we're seeing. But definitely the I&I reduction is a big factor in that. So another couple things to note, the total suspended solids. The past 2 years we've seen the levels increase in TSS. We don't do a lot of monitoring or sampling of that in the year. It's only 4 times a year. So it could be dependent on when those samples are pulled and what's being flushed into the system. But I would recommend that we talk with city staff and develop some kind of plan to try to address where that's coming from, so you can have an idea. So if there's any pre-treatment type of things at those source points, you can identify that so it doesn't have any effect on the ponds later. And then other recommended next steps, I guess. I would continue to evaluate the ponds on this annual memo update to see how the fluctuations are changing from year to year. I think we investigate those elevated TSS trends like I just discussed. And then now with this change in organic loading versus the flow loading and how you're limited, I think we should really sit down with our wastewater staff and city staff and kind of have a working session of what can we do as next steps to address the organic load capacity issue. We could do increased amount of targeted monitoring, sampling to identify high sources of organic loading. We could look at the sludge in the ponds, do a sludge survey to see how efficiently the ponds are working. If we identify point sources of high organics, we could look at what kind of feasible options do we have to potentially decrease that amount of organic loading into the system as pre-treatment so that it's not reaching the ponds. And then we could look into other options like after we do some of those things, look at like aeration at the ponds, which could help efficiently utilize the ponds, and so that you're not increasing capacity, but it's creating efficiency at the ponds and that organic loading, and so you're getting the best result out of your ponds as you can. I wouldn't say completely get away from I&I reduction projects. You're still treating as you monitor the ponds and as you get wet weather events. If you're seeing influx of flow from those wet weather events, you still have an I&I issue, and you're treating clean water, which is a waste of treating really. And so I'd say still monitor that. If you're still seeing those wet weather discharging events spike, I think it's still a good idea to address those I&I issues. Plus it improves the overall operation stability of the ponds. It makes it easier for Phil to know what's going on with those ponds. So that's kind of my quick high level update. I don't know if you have specific questions regarding the memo.
Any questions?
I&I reduction is also a requirement of our permit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
City Gardener Renee Bennett, tree grant update.
Good afternoon, City Administrator, Mayor, and council members. I wanted to give you guys an update on our progress with the Minnesota DNR Emerald Ash Borer grant the city was approved for. Since we last spoke, Blue Stem Forestry has completed an inventory, management plan, and analysis of all of the city trees. A total of 961 trees were looked at. 67 planting sites and 29 stems were inventoried. 408 trees, planting sites, stumps are all growing in parks, and 649 trees are growing on the streets right of ways. Each tree that they looked at was given a number, and the data includes tree location using GPS, the species, types of the trees, the size, and then each tree is graded from 0 to 100, 0 being dead and 100 being perfect specimen. Lots of other data comes with this. It's kind of interesting if you're a tree geek like me. And I have that data all listed in this, so if anybody on the council wants a copy of this, it is kind of interesting to see the current situation and then what the future looks like. The inventory identified 257 ash trees within the city limits, which is our main goal of this whole grant. And so those are the ones we're going to be focused on the most. The information will help us move forward on what trees, what ash trees pose a threat of danger to the public and what trees have the most priority of removal. So those are the ones we'll be looking at. Our focus initially, of course, will be the dead and dying ash trees in our city parks and the public area, but like I said before, all the data includes all of the trees. So there are some other trees that concern us as well, and we'll work with Public Works and the group to get that figured out. I've requested and been approved to add this data to the ArcGIS system in the city that's already in place. And that'll help us move forward in managing the tree population, both in tree removal and tree planting. And the additional cost that this is gonna be getting added to our current system will be covered also by the grant. As trees are removed, I will select new trees to be planted that include the diversity of species, height appropriateness, and those that will thrive in our area and provide beauty and habitat. My hope is to begin planting trees this fall. I'm working with the school, the library, and local volunteers to make this a fun and inclusive opportunity to involve young people. And as I continue to progress through this grant, I'll make the City of Moose Lake citizens aware of what we're doing through our Facebook page updates. So, any questions?
These are just the trees on city property,
Yes,
and they did look at what we call the old school woods back behind the school there?
correct. Yep. And including the cemetery as well.
Okay, I would like a copy of that report.
Happy to get you one. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I would also.
Okay.
That's-
Any other questions?
So that's all.
Okay. All right. Thank
Any
you
other
guys.
questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Tree committee appointment.
Yes, so we've established a tree committee with members of city staff and elected officials, and we have an interest from a citizen as well, which is an excellent addition to the tree committee. So looking for approval for Polly Purser to be on the city's tree committee. We will then start to conduct meetings and move forward with necessary activities.
I'll make a motion, we approve Polly Purser.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Looks like Little River Hoops Club gambling fund contribution request.
Okay. Yeah, so you received a request from the Moose Lake Little River Rebels Hoops Club. This is exactly what the gambling fund was made for. So they are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. Things that these monies would go to are the summer programming, development to these kids, equipment, things of that nature, awards, etc. So any questions on it? It would go to both the boys and girls program.
Any questions?
Just about how much money is in the account right now?
Roughly $25,000.
How much did we donate to the baseball?
I don't recall.
I can try to look if I can get onto our server from here.
Don't remember.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve the request as submitted.
Is there a second?
Oh, sorry.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Live Barn Incorporated Venue Agreement. Oh, Rebel Home Run Club facility lease.
So this is a renewal lease agreement that we have with the Rebels Home Run Club. The only change is, other than the dates, and the dates, is that it's going from a 2-year to a 3-year agreement. Price, everything else remains the same, nothing else changed. So the only difference, 2-year to a 3-year agreement with them. They requested it. It did go to Park Board already, and they made the recommendation to move forward.
Any questions? Motions?
I can make that motion, we approve the facility lease agreement for the Rebels Home Run Club.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Now live barn.
Live barn, so, I'm still getting up to speed on this myself. This is also a renewal agreement. We've had this in place at the First National Bank arena in town here for quite some time. It's a subscription base, so it costs the city nothing, but the city did install it. Essentially, it just allows people who pay a subscription fee to the company, Live Barn, to watch their favorite kids, grandkids, hockey games. And there is a revenue share portion of this, so if enough people sign up, some of that money does get kicked back to the city. So it's not a lot, doesn't cost us a lot outside of a couple hours a year for doing some stuff with the system that's in there. We'll help them out in that nature, so.
It's 30%. Have we received anything?
It's
Yeah.
been a couple of years since we've received anything.
Any
So
other questions?
with that, I have asked for some new marketing materials so we can try and promote it a little more. And I'm sure the high school and the hockey association will promote it more as well.
Any questions? Motions?
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Shipping container discussion.
Ooh, sorry. Good evening, council, Mayor Chelsea, Administrator Owens. We, as a city staff, have received a couple of comments / complaints about shipping containers on lots along Arrowhead Lane, the main drag, 73. So in doing research about those complaints, we have realized that our zoning ordinance does not address shipping containers. However, they are addressed in City Ordinance 131 pertaining to nuisances. However, that ordinance does not specify which zones they're referring to, so it would be safe to assume that that ordinance refers to all zones, not just residential. So, in addition to that, we've looked at where shipping containers have been installed or placed within the city thus far. I've made a list of those, many of them and what they're zoned. Many of them are zoned C2. There are a couple that are in, the city of Moose Lake has a couple, we're zoned P1. There are, I think there's one in an R1 up by Industrial Road there, but the majority of them are in C2. So that gives us a few options, or gives council a few options. One would be to stick to our nuisance ordinance and not allow shipping containers anywhere for longer than 60 days. We could amend ordinance 131, our nuisance ordinance, and our zoning ordinance to only allow them in designated zones, i.e. C2. However, one of the places where we have had complaints is zoned C2. So that does not take care of that complaint. And the other option would be to amend ordinance 131 and ordinance 104 to allow shipping containers in designated zones, but with a conditional use permit. So if that were the case, then anybody in C2 that has shipping containers would then have to come before Planning Commission, pay the conditional use permit application fee, and request a conditional use permit to have shipping containers on their property. So, up for council discussion, just looking for direction on which way we want to go, if we want to look at amending those ordinances, and if so, how we want to do that.
Any questions?
Have you had any conversation with any of these owners?
Alyssa, have you, the property that was, the complaint was issued, have you had a conversation?
I have reached out. I have not had one-on-one dialogue.
I'm wondering on the one for 720 Industrial Road, the first one, if those containers have already been removed. I believe this is the one that's on the north end of town.
It was the, I think it's the rental center now. What was it that implemented before? They might have been.
That was Randy Jusak, or I believe that was, had the in there. I don't know if he sold that out to
Sure.
somebody else or not, or,
Yeah, we-
but it says there's some on the right of, public right of way. I think those ones have been removed. If you're talking about the public right of way as being the 8th Street there.
Yes, yep,
I believe those ones have been removed.
perfect.
Any other questions? Suggestions?
We should do some type of breakout with this, because I don't think that a lot of people are gonna wanna see containers driving down our main drag. So,
No, I agree, and I think there are a lot of them already out there, so we should be able to give opportunity for permits. They've had, some of these places probably had them for years.
I know
Yeah.
that there has been verbiage in other ordinances regarding placement. I know that Ace Hardware and Lambert's do have them, however, they're behind their building. So there could be room for verbiage that says they have to be, behind the back corner of the building or whatever, they can't be in the front. So, definitely many different directions this could go, but wanted to bring this to your attention so that we could get direction on which way to go.
Sure. If there was to be conditional use permits, that would be like, each one would be looked at separately?
Correct.
That sounds like a good way to go.
Consensus on to go through the ordinance to change that, or amend the ordinance.
I guess I'd like us to have a full-scale discussion about this. I don't think it's something that we should just,
Go into right away.
right. So, when we have more time on the agenda, I'd like to do that.
Could you come up with some options of different things? I mean, maybe, if they're gonna be on the main drag, maybe they could enclose them so they look more like a building.
There.
I don't know, that's just something off the top of my head, but
I
different
can do
options of how.
Do
they
some
would-
research on other cities and how they handle it, and if there's something that maybe could work for us. And good.
We'll table it till it has a place on the agenda.
Perfect. Thank you.
2026 4th of July fireworks display discussion.
Yes, in the packet, the city council received a couple of options for a fireworks display. This is the 250th anniversary, and so with that, the pyrotechnics company has issued a couple of options for council to review. The last few years, the city council has allotted $12,000 for the fireworks display. A lot of that has been essentially covered through reimbursement through the Moose Lake Area Chamber as they fundraise independently and choose to make a contribution back to the city for the display. So there is the standard $12,000 option. In addition, there's a $15,000 option that incorporates an extra patriotic segment specific for the 250th anniversary. So I know council had made a request to see different options and to do something a little different for the 250th anniversary. And so this is what J&M Displays has come up with.
Any questions, comments?
Go ahead.
I guess I would like to see us do something a little special for the 250th. It's just my opinion.
I agree. I just see that on the $15,000 one compared to the 12 says that there's a time of 12 to 15 minutes. It isn't directly laid out in the $15,000 one, but does it, there's a 75-second assorted shot effect. Do we have did anybody else see that there's an exact time on that one? Because I've not seen the exact time.
No, and I can most certainly inquire on that.
Because I mean, we're going to be spending the money, it'd be nice to know how much longer that is. And I do agree with you, Councilor Lauer, about having something special for the 250.
Chris?
Porter, both your comments.
We need a motion on this, right?
Do we need to know when?
That's
Yeah.
the question. I think the patriotic one is like 700 more shells. Would have to go a little longer,
Right,
I have to think, you know.
You know, so,
right.
I mean, I'm in favor of going with the 15,000 since it is a historic event. I guess I'll make that motion. Let me go with $15,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Short Elliott Henderson recommendation to advertise for bids.
Oh, yes, the council received in their packet the recommendation letter from the city engineers regarding the Moose Lake Trunk Sewer Line Rehabilitation Project. Looking for a motion from council to advertise the bid for the joint project with the city's grant that was received from the MPCA in the amount of $658,000. Our local match has been budgeted within our sewer fund as a capital line item. And we are looking to essentially open bids in order to get the project completed within the timetable of 2026.
Any questions?
Motion to set it up bid.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution 26.03.02, approving a resolution approving outdoor recreation grant application.
Yes, this is a resolution essentially allowing for the facilitation of our grant application for the new playground at the city park. So we're continuing to work through that process. This resolution essentially allows for the application to be submitted on behalf of the city and for us to continue to work on that.
Any questions?
Make a motion, we accept resolution 26.03.02.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public Works pickup quotes.
Yeah, so on page 144, you will find two quotes for the WF-350 pickup for the Public Works Department, which is a capital expense that was budgeted for in 2026. The first one from Midway Forward, that is state bid pricing. I did include an additional quote in there just for transparency. So my recommendation, we move forward with this with the first quote from Midway Forward.
Any questions?
What was the budgeted amount?
Oh. I think it was 50 grand. So I think we're just a fuzz over. Yep. I
So
can,
we need to approve that extra amount. I'll make that motion to go up to the not to exceed $52,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Or is that what the first bid?
That's the first one, I'm sorry.
First bid, yeah.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution 26.03.01, resolution declaring equipment or property as surplus.
Yes, this resolution essentially identifies 3 pieces of equipment from Public Works that are no longer needed. for current or future municipal operations. This resolution essentially allows city staff to then bring them to public bid in order to have an equitable way to get rid of them.
Any questions?
I'll make another motion to approve resolution 26.03.01.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Part-time campground attendant job posting.
Yes, so in the campground, there's a need to hire 2 office attendants this year. That is went to Parkport. That went to Parkport last week. With the approval there, so we're just coming here for approval to post those 2 positions.
Is there any
Questions?
Sorry.
I was just wondering, was there any last year's people interested in coming back? or-
We have 2 of them last year coming back. This-
That was my question.
Any other questions? I'll make the motion that we transfer the campground part-time positions. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Weeping Willow application for exempt permit.
Yes, the city received an application regarding the watercross event and a raffle that Weeping Willow would like to conduct. They do have a drawing essentially scheduled at the brewery for September 7th, 2026. And they did share that they are implementing a similar raffle activity that has been successful for other watercross events. And so this is their application to the city to allow for that opportunity.
Any questions?
On this application, did anybody see that there's an end time on this? Because I know we discussed at the meeting that there would be an end time. I just want to make sure that,
This is not their event application.
oh, yes, but is it during this, does it coincide with the event?
Yes.
So then, I guess it's relevant.
Let's see, the drawing is on the 7th. Yes, and their event is over Labor Day weekend, so it does.
Just want to make sure that it's finished in a timely manner, so we don't have complaints.
Excellent.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. P, United Way Gambling Fund request.
Yeah, for some more money. This literally just came in to us, so there really wasn't time to get it in the packet. Apologies, but they are under a time constraint, so we said we would pass it forward to you guys. United Way, who's also a 501c3 nonprofit organization, is requesting a donation. It would be from the municipal liquor store. It would come out of the gambling fund, just like the other request. And then at the back page of this handout, there are some sponsorship levels that you guys would be able to choose from. These monies go to things like emergency housing and shelter for children, basic needs kits, transportation and safe ride vouchers, school stability support, etc. Good cause. They would need a decision here, the timing of everything.
I make a motion that we approve the Triple Diamond sponsorship logo.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? And that's $1,000, so
Yes.
the public knows that that's the donation.
Are we pleased? Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Q, conditional use permit application discussion.
Yes, the city council received an email this afternoon within the last couple of hours. That was essentially activated by a communication that the city received from Revolve Labs around 2 p.m. Essentially, I want to give an update to council that Revolve is no longer pursuing the project in the city of Moose Lake. And I'm requesting that the council make a motion to withdraw the CUP application to the planning commission.
I will make that motion, we withdraw this. Application.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Reports of correspondence. Report Clarissa, Alyssa Cruise Home, public hearing communication, Carlton County Drug Prevention Coalition meeting minutes for March 2nd, 2026. Hope Floats Bingo Flyer, March 26th, 2026. Questions, any of those? Committee of Board meeting minutes, Moose Lake Fire Protection District meeting minutes were not provided. Parks and Recreation Board meeting minutes, March 2nd, 2026. Any questions on those? Moving right through. Announcements. Moose Lake regular city council meeting Wednesday, April 8th, 2026, 4 p.m. Moose Lake City Council chambers. Moose Lake City Council Local Board of Appeal and Equalization meeting Thursday, April 9th, 2026, 10 a.m. in the City Council chambers. Moose Lake Economic Development Authority Wednesday, March 18th at 12 p.m. in the City Conference Room. Moose Lake Planning Commission Tuesday, March 24th, 4 p.m. Moose Lake City Council Board Chambers. Moose Lake Water and Light Commission Tuesday, March 17th in the Water and Light Office at 1 p.m. Moose Lake Housing and Redevelopment Authority Board Monday, April 6th at 11 a.m. in the Hillside Banner East. Moose Lake Fire Protection District Tuesday, April 14th, 2026, 6:30 p.m. in the Emergency Response Center. Moose Lake Park and Rec Board Monday, April 6th, 5 p.m. in the City Council Chambers. Any other announcements? Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.